Hello and welcome. It is I, the OG GM, and OG, I'm outside because it's another lovely spring summer day. It's Monday, it's about 10 o'clock, and it's time to revisit topics we've revisited before because apparently there's nothing new in the world. And rather than look at my ugly face, bleh, thought you'd want to look at the sun while I walk to the market and we talk about people being angry at D&D 5th edition and Wizards of the Coast, because apparently people still are, and all the attempts of the more rational minds in the RPG world to get people to calm down isn't really working. So even though I've revisited this topic before, I feel it is my duty as somebody who regularly rags on Wizards of the Coast and 5th edition D&D to play devil's advocate and come to the defense of Wizards of the Coast. And I understand a lot of us are angry. Is that a fucking anvil? A lot of us are angry. You see it? It looks like an anvil. Probably not, but whatever. We'll go over and check it out. Angry at Wizards of the Coast because of the choices they've made over the past year, and angry at 5th edition because I don't actually know why people are angry at 5th edition. So let's address people who are angry at 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. The rules, oh no, it's a planter. You see it? It's a planter. It's a nice planter. It's a bird bath. It's a weird thing for somebody to throw away. Well, you know. The rules for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, let's just throw everything else to the corner for a sec. The actual rules are okay. They're okay. They're not world-shaking. They're not groundbreaking. They're not amazing in any way, shape, or form. There are better rule sets that do the same thing out there. And there are worse, I assure you. Hi, bird. There's a bird. Worse rule sets out there than Wizards of the Coast D&D 5th edition. So we can take all the personal out of the way and just for a second just focus on the actual rules as written, and they're okay. They've done nothing to you personally, so there's no reason to be angry at a rule set. If you don't appreciate the rule set for 5th edition, don't play it, don't buy it. There are other games out there, literally millions of other games out there. And if you can't find a game that you like out of the million published products, make your own. Make your own game. Hell, make your own D20 fantasy game, since the 5th edition rule set is Creative Commons open license. So don't be mad at 5th edition. 5th edition has not done anything to you. The worst 5th edition has done to you is maybe you got a paper cut turning the pages of the books. Now, let's move up a step. People who are angry at Wizards of the Coast, and I understand that anger a lot because there are statements that Wizards of the Coast have directly or indirectly made, especially with Ravenloft and Tasha's, that could be perceived as insulting or attacks against people like myself who are more situated in the OSR movement than D&D. There are choices that Wizards of the Coast has made that, when you look at them, make no sense. I will agree, they make no sense. And they could be perceived as being insulting. Now, I've gone on record more than a few times to say that I still believe that the intent, because if you pull back, if you dig away all the legalese and misinterpretations and the miswritings, and you actually just think about what they were trying to do with the choices they've made, the intent was good. There was a good idea at the kernel of that. dog. Unfortunately, between the intent and actual presentation, something went horribly, horribly wrong. And yes, Wizards of the Coast does hold some blame, as does the media, like myself, hold some blame, as does the way certain individuals have perceived the notions that Wizards of the Coast has put forward and taken the anger torch and run with it. Why do I always use much bigger words when I'm walking? I guess I'm more creative. Fresh air, I guess. So, we know that there are choices that Wizards of the Coast has made that piss people off. And we're very, very angry. But again, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro haven't really done anything that horrible, because the actual wording of the choices and the perception of the choices are two different things. And the actual wording of the choices are pretty innocuous. They could have been worded better, especially with the whole thing about horror and Ravenloft and the legacy stamp on the older products and the whole other stuff. But again, the things we're really angry about didn't come from Wizards of the Coast. Like the safety tools thing. That's not from Wizards of the Coast. They didn't do that. That's somebody else who did that. Or the orcs are racist thing. That's not Wizards of the Coast. They didn't do that. That's somebody else. So don't be angry at Wizards of the Coast. Don't be angry at Hasbro. After all, Hasbro brought us the Transformers and My Little Pony and Power Rangers. Be angry at the people. Be angry at the politics. Be angry at the situation. Be angry at the toxic tables that are being created because of this situation. Be angry at the people who are saying all these horrible things, who actually haven't read the rules or actually have no idea what's going on. I mean, these are the same people that called out Michael Poundsmith for being racist and transphobic after playing the demo of the Cyberpunk video game. Michael Poundsmith, of course, being black, and there's nothing in the video game that would in any way, shape, or form be perceived as racist against black people. And if there's any game in the world that is not transphobic, it's Cyberpunk. Because the whole point of Cyberpunk is the technology allows you to be whatever the fuck you want. Want to be half zebra? $1,000, you're half zebra. But without actually doing any research, people came forward and made this statement. And the same thing is going on in our hobby. And these attacks against Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, these attacks against Wizards of the Coast. You're not angry at Wizards of the Coast, you're not angry at 5th edition, you're angry at the people, the toxic core, who have taken these ideas and run with them and made them into something else and attached their own personal political bull to what on the surface are relatively harmless choices. The choices could be turned into something harmful, and they have been turned into something harmful, but on the surface, what the? I guess I'm crossing the street because there's this nightmare. Okay. Perceived versus actual intent. Again, two different things. Now let's go a step forward. People who are angry at Critical Role, including myself. And again, you're not angry at Critical Role because Critical Role has done nothing but make a lot of money and be hypocritical sellouts. Critical Role hasn't told you to use safety tools, hasn't told you that orcs are racist, hasn't said any of these things people are angry for. At no point in time does Matt Mercer say you have to run the game like I do. At no time does Sam Riegel say you have to play the characters like I do. No, they just do their little WWE of pro wrestling show, collect their paycheck, and go about their lives. Now, they are well aware of the effect they have had on the industry, both positive and negative. They sometimes address the negative, but mostly they choose to address the positive. And there's no denying that if you forgive them everything else, they have allowed D&D to become more recognizable. Though really, Stranger Things did it first, not them, and made Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro a lot of money. Money that will soon disappear if our prediction is true and they cut that tether. But that's the topic of a different vlog. Now, Critical Role has done nothing to you. Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition has done nothing to you. Wizards of the Coast has done nothing to you. Hasbro has done nothing to you. And despite my making statements to the contrary, well, that's because it's my job to rattle the cages and milk that clickbait, just every other YouTuber. The people you need to be angry at is the toxic fan base. It's the manic pixie dream girls and other things that you should direct that anger at. Now, I don't like playing devil's advocate. I don't like having to defend Critical Role, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro. I do feel, if nothing else, they need to step up, especially Critical Role, and especially Manic Pixie Dream Girl, Jeannie D, need to step up and take responsibility for the damage they have done to the RPG community. Which is something, as of this date, Matt Mercer has kind of, in a roundabout way, sort of said something, but not really, and not recently. And I don't think Jeannie D has ever said anything like, oh, gee, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you attack other players. Be angry at the fan base. And the best way to use that energy instead of hate is be productive. If you're angry at Wizards of the Coast, don't buy their product. Don't support their product. Don't even mention that their product. I mention their product because I do news about gaming, but trust me, in a perfect world, I wouldn't be talking about them at all because I don't support them anymore because they don't support me. But because I am a RPG news source, amongst other things, I do have to mention them and review their stuff. But I don't buy their stuff anymore. I don't even buy anything Wizards of the Coast adjacent. All my gaming money goes to other companies now. Don't buy their stuff. Furthermore, take all that energy and anger that you're using to write these hateful comments in Discord and on vlogs and stuff like that, and write them a letter. Send Matt Mercer a letter. Use your email account and contact him, contact Jeannie D, contact the people at Wizards of the Coast and let them know why you're upset at them. Write them a letter. I've made vlogs about it. I've made blogs about it. I've made Facebook posts about it. I've sent letters to the Wizards of the Coast. I've sent letters to Critical Role. I haven't sent letters to Jeannie D because I don't respect her that much, enough to even give her the time of day. But I have commented on her on the vlog. Now, I don't know if my letters have made any difference whatsoever, or even if they were ever seen, but I did it. And truly, that's what we should be doing with our energy. Support games that support us. Purchase games that support us don't buy Wizards of the Coast product if you're angry at them. Don't even mention them if you're angry at them. Just spend that money and that time and that energy on things that bring you joy. And if there's nothing out there that's a game that brings you joy, make your own. And more importantly, communicate with the people you hold responsible for this toxic environment. If you're angry at Critical Role and Matt Mercer, send them a letter, send them an email. If you're angry at Jeannie D and the rest of the Manic Pixie Dream Girls, send them a letter. If you're angry at Wizards of the Coast, email them, send them a letter. If you're angry at Hasbro, email them, send them a letter. If you're angry at me, comment down below, and thank you for listening to me blab for the past whatever this has been. I'm almost at my location, so I'm pretty much going to wrap this up. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. If you appreciate this content, comment down below. If you don't appreciate this content, comment down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 500 subs by August 4th. Until then, enjoy this beautiful sunny day and it's fresh air, blue sky. Take a breath. Don't be angry. Challenge that energy to something that will be productive by addressing the issues directly with the people you have issues with instead of leaving hate mail on people's vlogs. Until next time, get off my land.